tired after a really good meal.
This is a personalized ad. It helps you find good ideas. This is Jada, who found one.
Yeah. Which, I don't even know if there's a lack of enthusiasm. I mean, there's all these fans of the movie, but, you know, you still don't see a lot of things that you see with other, that are associated with other blockbusters.
Yeah, other franchises.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, we all know the movie. I mean, after all, it's the biggest movie of all time. But obviously, we all don't.
Yeah.
So, just to give people a little refresher, this movie centers on Jake Sully. There's a character right there.
Yeah,
and if you had asked me that a year ago, I wouldn't know. Say, I don't know who that is. Jake who? Jake Sully.
Sully. I heard him called Sully by those people.
Jake Sully, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is he part of Jersey Shore? Jake Sully is a crippled Marine, ex-Marine, and he gets a chance to get his legs back because this is the future. They can actually rebuild his legs if he takes this military corporate assignment to go to the planet Pandora, participate in the Avatar program, and try to do a little diplomacy with the natives there. Now, this Avatar program is where they've taken the DNA from the blue people, as they call them. Like I said, I didn't even know they were Navi until like about a week ago or something. But they take the DNA of the blue people, they recreate a body similar to the species, and they have some sort of technology that can mind link you with these bodies, and you can pretty much be one of the natives there. Except the thing that happens, Sully, he goes out there and, you know, I'm surprised nobody predicted this. You know what I think? Those cats.
That's all it took, man.
He saw one of those fine-ass cats out there, had sex with it, and said, you know what? My people.
Mm-hmm.
So now that he went out there and got himself a blue cat woman, and he's part of the tribe, he feels the need to protect the civilization from, of course, the evil military and the even more evil corporate folks who want to mine the planet for its resources.
And what is that resource?
Man, I will talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. We'll get to that. This also has the voices of Zoe Saldana and some other people that you know. The guy that plays Mother's Milk.
Oh, he's in it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I had no idea he was in it.
Michelle Rodriguez, Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, a lot. Stephen Lang. A lot of people that are in this huge film right here. Some people are kicking themselves because they did not be in the movie. Matt Damon turned it down to be in the because of his commitment with the Bourne series. Which, hey, you know, got him a nice chunk of change too.
Some good movies.
Yeah, they're not bad at all. So, first thing about this discussion, man, before we get into it. Actually, no, we'll open the discussion with this. You saw it on Disney Plus.
Yes, I did recently. Yesterday.
Okay, so when I watched this, man, I started watching this, and I looked at it and I said, what the hell is this? I said, I don't remember any of this stuff when I saw it. So what I saw, and I didn't know, I saw the extended version.
Oh, I
guess it was an extended version. I don't know if it was the one that they recently released or re-released.
Okay.
But when I saw it, I was like, I don't remember that shit right here.
Yeah.
Any of it.
All right.
And I tell you, I remember that it was not in the version of Avatar that I saw in the theater years ago. But I can tell you, from what I saw, I like this cut a whole lot better.
Okay.
So this extended version has some scenes in here that I think actually enhances the movie a little bit more. You get a glimpse of what Earth is like in the future.
Right. Okay.
And,
oh wow.
Yeah, you get to learn a lot about what's happening briefly in the future here on planet Earth. We're doing some cool things, like we are bringing back some species of animals that we completely killed off. Now, if you're wearing headphones watching this later, you can probably hear what we're saying on the news right here. But there was a news clip talking about how they brought back Bengal tigers through cloning because we, of course, completely killed them off.
Eradicated
Yeah.
their pellets. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. We took away their environment or whatever. You know, I don't know what we did.
Deforestation.
You know, doing what humans do.
We're nasty.
And that's the thing. Those species might be better off left extinct because Earth looks. There's overpopulation that's going on.
Oh wow.
You know, this is the Earth part that looks like Blade Runner or set of a sucky ass Star Wars TV show. You know, there's a lot of overpopulation that's going on. Humans have gotten a lot shittier. So, in the future, I'm sorry for you, and I'm sorry for any woman that might be in the future. I apologize ahead of time. So in public, you can go ahead and you can beat a woman all you want. No one cares. What?
Jesus, strong, pretty weak. It's just the way things are.
And as you can see, no one does a thing about it.
Okay.
Except the dude in the wheelchair. He's the only one that cares.
He'll stand up against it. Oh, I can't feel it's more of a figurative thing, not a literal thing. Don't hit her, please. Don't hit me.
And you can see why no one cares. Because the moment you try to be a hero, you try it down there, but you think everybody be like, yeah, get that asshole. Yeah. No. The dude that beat the woman, nothing happened to him. Hey, keep drinking, buddy. The guy that actually stood up to him, well, figuratively. The guy that rolled up to him.
Rolled up to him, yes.
What happened to him? Oh, here throws chair.
Oh my God.
The moment you try to be a hero, you throw it out on your ass.
Okay.
The guy that was beating a woman in the bar, no one says a thing. No, you just go ahead and keep drinking, sir.
That's how it is here.
But the dude that tried to do something,
He's a troublemaker, alright? He didn't do that when he had this issue.
yeah, get your crippled ass out.
Let us slap our women in peace, good sir.
Yes.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Take your two wheels with you.
Wow, it hurts.
But they let you know quick that people in the future, they do not care about the handicapped working for the company.
Check this out, man. Meals on wheels.
Wrong to be handicapped?
Apparently.
It's not, he couldn't even say that's sad. He's like, oh, that's wrong.
No, what a loser's legs for. What's even here?
Bring your stupid, crippled, non-working legs up here. And Meals on Wheels don't make any sense either.
Like, is he going to be eaten? What do you
So
say?
you know, they roll up with a pizza, a bag of Chinese anything, you know, he makes no sense.
Terrible dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you, the reason why I like that beginning so much right there is because I wasn't crazy about Sully as a character.
He's generic.
Jake Sully is to me is very generic, and I didn't really. Yeah, I don't hate the character. I mean, I don't mind the character either. It's just that I don't feel anything towards the character.
There's nothing interesting to him. He, to me, if I were to describe him, he's like, you know how you play a video game and you get to create a character? He's like the default one you start with. He's like the default character model, and by the time you're done, he looks like his avatar self.
Yes.
Yes. More to do, he's able to do more.
He is the character that everybody's complaining about. When they say diversity, you know, the same white, brown haired, scruffy dude.
Yeah, they're a little handsome. You know?
Yeah,
Roguish.
yeah. Somebody said basic bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I don't hate the character. The character's, he serves a very basic purpose.
He serves
hero.
Yeah,
that's it. Generic, just overall hero. Nothing, no real distinguishing qualities beyond that.
Yeah, I agree.
But that beginning, or all this extra footage of these scenes that we didn't have before, I think they set up Jake a little bit better, man. It's not much, okay, but at least they foreshadow some things that happen with Jake later on in the movie, and it explains his motivation or his character a little bit more.
Right.
Because what these scenes prove right here, what they show, what they foreshadow, is how Jake has a good heart. Jake is willing to fight for things that are right.
Sure.
It kind of explains why he's willing to actually put himself out there. And for those who've seen the movie, we all have, Jake pretty much fights for the Na'vi after a while.
Yes.
And so this kind of shows you why he's, there's a guy that would do that with anything. The other thing with Jake is, like I said, I wasn't crazy about Jake, man. And I feel bad because, I felt like when I saw the trailers for this and everything, I said, man, if anything's going to get you behind the hero, is that he's handicapped.
Sure.
But nah, I just didn't feel anything for him. And it also didn't help that when he gets to Pandora, he finally makes it. Maybe I don't know if it was his way, but I thought Jake was kind of dumb.
Oh, no, he's dumb. Yes.
Damn it.
I don't know all this science stuff. Like, I think he literally calls it science stuff at one point in the movie.
I asked me, what do you know? He said, zilch. Glad to be ignorant.
I'm what you call a blank slate.
Jake is just stupid. I mean, I don't even know why they keep messing with Jake or why they continue with the program with Jake. The moment that Jake gets his avatar, his cat body, what's the first thing he does? Oh, good, I got this.
You need to sit down.
Guys, get back on the gurney now.
Starts tearing up shit because he won't listen. And he keeps trying to tell people, like, I'm not just some dumb grunt.
But he keeps proving him. He keeps proving him. Now you are a dumb grunt.
Like, okay, maybe I get it. He's happy to have his legs. He's excited, so he's so giddy that he's not listening. I get that.
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll let that slide. But then what happens when he actually gets the legs? He gets his avatar body. He's out there doing his job. What's the first thing he does when he gets into the jungle?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bitch.
Starts doing his Jesse Pinkman impression and pissing off every animal in the jungle, putting his life in danger and everybody else's.
That's right. Get back to mom and you got nothing. You keep running. You bring back some of your friends.
Like that, friend?
Yeah. What's even funnier too is he keeps touching things throughout the entire movie. Like the Florida play, you've never seen any of this. You don't know what they do, and you have experts that can explain. He's like, he's like Prometheus. Stop touching things.
Yeah, Jake is silly, man.
Yeah, no, he's dumb.
Jake is dumb, ignorant. And at first I felt bad about it because it doesn't help that Sigourney Weaver just keeps calling his ass dumb too. That's true.
Shouldn't be hard for you.
Bitch. She keeps calling him dumb, and at first I thought, like, leave the guy alone. But then it's like, he keeps proving her right.
Yeah, every time.
Again, those little extra scenes help me like him a little bit better.
Interesting. I like that context. See why his life is so shitty, why he feels motivated to work with Stephen Lane's character to get his leg back. It's like, okay, now I guess before we're just told, give your legs back. I guess we can assume he couldn't get his legs. All right.
Yeah, and like I said, there's more explanation that I'm not even showing you. It's very brief. But he's really telling you, like, yeah, he said on Earth you gotta look out for yourself.
Okay.
It's like that's how bad things are here.
I like that.
That's why we are looking at Pandora to go to another planet and colonize that, or take their resources just so we can just screw up things more on our planet.
Or try to improve it, but eventually screw it up. You're right.
Yeah. Now, I will tell you this, because I'm not here just to criticize the movie. I'm here to tell you what I think doesn't work, what they've improved on, because they did really improve on Jake just a little bit with that prologue right there. But what I do like, I've always loved how James Cameron makes science fiction feel natural. He did that with Aliens.
Yep.
And what worked in Aliens is that he took machinery that looks like equipment that's on Earth, and just modded it up to be more futuristic, more sci-fi, and that's what he does here, man. You know, he takes construction equipment, things that are familiar to us, and makes us feel more at home with all the spaceships and the other tech that they have because, you know, we immediately kind of recognize something, even if it is a more futuristic version of it. And I tell you, man, you know, I love looking at the sets that they have here, the environments that they have here, but man, I think that was I thought that was really great storytelling without having to say anything.
Oh, the arrows and
the tires.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's great storytelling detail, man. Showing conflict before we even told anything.
Yeah.
You know, because we're thinking like, damn, how crazy are these cat people, man? They're trying to take, bulldozers down with
bows and arrows.
With bows and arrows. Like I said, there's some storytelling details here that I appreciate. On Pandora, when they finally get to the planet, that's where the story starts to take a dip for me, you know, for several reasons. First, let me say, you know, of course, the groundbreaking effects here and everything, they don't really have to say that. But behind those groundbreaking effects, you really have pretty much a very basic story.
Yeah.
With Avatar, the first Avatar. You know, this amazing imagery, set a new standard for 3D and motion capture and everything, you know that. But behind all that, man, it's a very simple story, and I actually think that's a part of the movie's success. To be honest with you, yeah. You know, I look at this, and this movie has, you know, I think that the themes are not too complicated. They're themes that we've seen before. You know, some people, you've heard the comparison. Some people call this Dances with Wolves or Fern Gully or Dances with Gullies, or you know, they call it a lot of things. Hey, I'd even say if you look at it, when I was watching, I said, shit, they even got a Lion King thing going on here.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's visuals. Those visuals.
For a moment, you thought those cat people were Simba and Nala.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, man. You know, it even has that vibe going on for it. Now, some say these things as an insult when they compare it to these movies, but I think the simplicity is a good thing because I think it's easier to, you know, with all these, you know, look, the movie's huge, all right, with all the world building and effects we have. I think you don't need any more of a complicated story. I think it actually helps keep it simple to immerse yourself in the world. I mean, if you can make a more complicated story, that's fine, but I don't think it's really necessary.
I feel like you're right because what James Cameron clearly set out to do, he didn't want to make a controversial movie. Like the word I would not use to describe Avatar in capacity is controversial because he wanted to create a movie that could be enjoyed by the broad masses.
Yeah.
And that's not just people in America or Europe, but people in China, people all around the world that could enjoy this story. We won't piss off certain people or certain demographics, so we're going to play it safe and we're going to give them that spectacle. And I feel like the movie's clearly focused on what's trying to deliver.
Yeah, that's why these themes are all familiar.
Yes.
Because, you know, he wanted to have broad appeal. But the characters is what I have a problem with. These characters are so stereotypical.
Yeah. They land. Yeah. And some of these are like, well, they're pretty talented folks. You know, Sigourney Weaver and Stephen Lang. I mean, they've delivered some great performances. And you're giving them some of the most generic, kind of unintentionally funny. Like, you're trying to make them, giving them, like, we're going to give them cool dialogue. And it's like, no, you make them sound like a hard ass. You make them look like a joke.
Yeah, the dialogue here is
bad dialogue.
And you know, these performers are actually doing some really a good job of what they have. But it's just the type of people that they are. Stephen Lang as Colonel Miles, Quaritch, whatever. Quaritch, typical military leader.
Yes.
You know, very jingoistic, which means he's just very patriotic, and patriotism here is earth patriotism. You know, human power.
Yeah.
Hates everything else.
He really does.
I mean, he's mad.
He's right up front about that, though. I will give him that. It's not like, oh, I'm getting a secret now.
He lets you know I hate everything. I want to destroy and blow up everything. He loves war and violence.
Yeah.
And he's got the scars. He has all the scars to prove it. He loves those scars. It proves that he's tough. Well, they can fix me up. day was waiting. He's already thinking this month. I really want to work with this guy?
Honestly, I can't tell what he's thinking because his face is so just nothing.
He's probably not even listening.
Yeah, what? You give me legs, right? Okay.
You hear me, boy?
Sorry, I kind of blanked out there.
Jake! Jake! God damn it, Jake!
He'll come around. Just give it takes a little longer, you know, space travel and all that.
Yeah, Jake look like he on that die smoking.
He does.
Yeah. Hey, y'all.
You had Jake face, right?
You want that cool, relaxed feeling? You want that look of calm that Jake has right now?
I do.
Get yourself some. Ask Jake. Get some of the dots. Dot smoke right there. He's one too many. I really love these gummies, man.
Same.
I had one the other night because they really helped me sleep. And thing is, I moved up. So if you don't know about Diet Smoke.
What if I told you there's one gift you could give literally everyone on your list? And it's on sale. Dr. Squatch isn't just a high-quality natural
Smoke. When we first got them, they were Delta 8 gummies. Right. And what they mean by Delta 8 gummies is that they're meant for the people who, you know, they want to hit it hard. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to be in the high. Sure. You know, they just want to be in a nice, mellow place, feeling good. And that is the the Delta 8 THC is the right balance.
Mm-hmm.
But they moved up to Delta 9.
Okay.
And I've been trying the Delta 9 gummies, and they have been delicious, man. And I thought I was going to be knocked out. Well, I was, because they helped me sleep. But, you know, going into it, going to bed after taking it, I felt perfect, man.
Nice.
I did notice a difference, but it felt nice and cool. These gummies, they're good for all levels of THC consumers out there. You know, they got the Delta 8 for the lighter people, got the Delta 9 now for all the experienced people, and they got it in so many different flavors.
Wow.
I have apple cider, man.
Ooh, sounds nice.
Yeah, cherry lime. I think the cherry lime is the one. Oops. Cherry lime.
He's enjoying some of that.
No, the cherry lime I think is the one that I had with the Delta 9. Nice. It was delicious. That's the thing about them too. They taste very good and they're low in sugar.
Yeah.
You know, they keep their flavors fresh. And they'll tell you that each flavor is handpicked through weeks of testing and sampling before they ever get released. Diet Smoke is so popular now that they can actually, you can call them up and tell them that you didn't have a good experience and they'll be willing to help you out.
Wow.
Yeah, man. We've had people here on the show, in the community, they've tried Diet Smoke and they've told us that they love it, man. I've had people send videos.
Yep.
And they got them a few more products now. In addition to gummies, they got the drinks. And they've gotten so popular now that, hey, you like Diet Smokes, let the world know by wearing their merch.
Look at a little gummy man.
Yeah, little Gummy Man.
Yeah, I love it.
Gummy Man is new, the new mascot they got.
That's cute.
Yeah, I mean, you hear me gushing all over this, man, and talking about how much I love it. We've been talking about it for months now, how much we love Diet Smoke.
Yep.
And we are sure that you'll love Diet Smoke too. That's why I'm going to get you 20% off your next order. Go to dietsmoke.com and use the code TOASTED for 20% off your first order. I guarantee you're going to love it. Hey, if you don't believe me, ask Jake.
Hello.
Tell him, Jay.
If that face doesn't say it all right,
That's a satisfying customer.
you might want to go with the Delta 8.
Hey, nice, a little too much.
Work your way up. I want to thank Diet Smoke, as usual, for supporting this portion of the show, and I want to thank all of you out there for your support, as always. And please, try the Diet Smoke. It is great, man. We all love it around here. You ever tried it before?
Oh yeah, I love Diet Smoke.
Well, we were talking about Stephen Lang and talking about how much of a stereotype he is. I mean, that's the thing with this character, man. I mean, that military type, so stereotypical. They capture everything
Every aspect.
that is typical of that type of character. Of course, You know, him being angry, talking about the scars, looking at the scars. You know, he's wearing them to show you how tough he is. We see that all the time with the with military leaders in movies and whatnot. If there's anything he loves more than those scars, it's giving speeches with the same shit we've heard before.
You're not in Kansas anymore. If there is a hell, you might want to go there for some R&R.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, it's a take on every speech that we've heard before, same cadence. You know, there's really nothing to this character except to be the villainous military leader.
Yep, to do bad guy stuff.
To do bad guy stuff. Yeah,
He does it.
that's it.
Enjoys it. Sipping his coffee.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. Yeah. And that's too bad, man, because, you know, like all the tech that James Cameron has in his movie that he does so well with, where it feels real, there's a lot of the military stuff outside of the Stephen Lang that feels very natural, feels real.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of side characters, you know, since they're not the main character, they don't have a type, they don't have enough time to be big stereotypes, but they do add to the realistic feel of the military here.
Let's go, back on.
You know, somebody who's been in basic and anybody who's been in the military, they can say, hey, look, that feels real, right there. You know, he does direct those scenes very well.
No, they got the military shtick down. I like the way the technology looks. I mean, who doesn't love a giant robos?
Yeah.
Come on, those are fun.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man.
Yeah, I get it.
Same with your boy, Giovanni Ribisi. Great actor. He's actually great in his role, man. But he's just the typical corporate bad guy.
He's Burke from Aliens.
He's Burke from Aliens, except Burke had, for some reason, he felt like he had more depth to him. Well, because he's presented at the beginning as a good guy.
As a good guy, yeah, we didn't know. Where he immediately like, I don't care about these little kitty cat people. Hey, and there's like a typical thing that corporate villains do: indoor putting range.
Yeah, because yes, he cares only about profit, nothing else.
That's why we're here. Unobtainium.
Boy, look, you could have come up with any better name than that. You just can't take anium and apply it to anything.
Do you know the history?
Unobtainium.
Do you know the history of that word? Unobtainium?
No, I'm sure it's stupid though.
It is. No, it is. So when sci-fi novelists or fantasy writers, they don't know like what they want to call an element in their books, they use the word unobtainium. That's what it's a real term.
That's a real term.
But they don't actually use it because it's called unobtainium. You can't obtain this metal.
Well, that's the see, that was what I was going to say. That's the problem because they obviously obtain it.
Yes.
So how he's obtaining unobtainium.
There you go. Yes. It's a huge contradiction. It doesn't make any sense.
Either way, I hate this name, but I would have been a little bit better if they called it obtainium.
Yeah.
Because at least it makes sense.
Something, different.
Are you serious? It was a literary term that James Cameron actually put in this movie right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
This is why we're here. Unobtainium. It's what pays for the whole party. It's what pays for your science. Brendo?
Dumb science stuff.
And they always rub it in your face. It's what pays for the shit you do.
Comprendo.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And he's Peter Selfridge here. That's his name. He's the corporate. Selfish, yes.
Christ.
Self-fulfilling, yeah. Okay, yeah. Between unobtainium and that name there, boy. James Cameron, you had the internet then. I mean, you could go on there and find anything. I mean, you know how I found Double Toasted? I went online and just put two random words together.
Yeah,
you can't do that with
people don't have that usually. So it's like, I'll just do that. Something different. You could just enter any element, any names.
I would have given you permission to use Double Toastania if you wanted to. Good. He does the evil things that evil corporate guys do. Sitting around putting and playing golf where everybody else is working.
See that? Yes, sir. Oh, you were looking at the monitor. I love this putter, Ronnie.
Yeah, he didn't see it because he was doing his goddamn job. Like you should have been in years monologuing. Mugging. You see that button? No, you look at the screen and doing your...
Yeah, you asshole. Yeah. Be like me. What happened to you anywhere?
I love this butter, man. Hey, you know everybody's working like, I wish you go away.
He always does this.
I wish you go back to his office. They're bad corporate guys, but at first you say, well, at least they're practical. You know, they're just doing a job. You know, they're trying try to get stuff we need, and then it only takes a matter of time before that real evil side starts to come out. The evil side that shows that they really don't care about anything. Probably not even other human beings. They just care about themselves.
Watch a native New York chicken here. Not related. People have to learn that we don't stop. Go, 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 go.
Go. And to show you how bad he is, he's eating peanuts too.
Yes.
Just to show you how much he doesn't care.
Yeah. We don't have any experience of that. We know how the Navi felt. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, David Keith. Interview David Keith. He would eat peanuts just like this.
What? Can I?
You heard that show on the internet? Somebody's like.
And just gleefully like, yeah, we'll be crushing there. They don't move my boat. No, stop
I would really want to hate this guy, but I'm just laughing because, just another corporate guy we see. He's no depth to him at all.
No, he's one dimensional. There's nothing to him, and I just kind of like how gleefully evil he is. Or unaware of how evil he is. That's more where it's like, I'm just doing my job. Whatever. That's funny, but it's not compelling.
No.
It's not interesting.
And when you get these types, man, when you get black characters like this, guarantee you, terrible dialogue is going to follow because they have no substance. And when you have no substance, you get dialogue like this.
Worker, there is time to salvage the situation.
Shut your pie hole.
What? Rachel Rick.
What are they, 9 years old?
Ooh, you told him. Ranger Rick. These old references.
Yeah.
But that's also like, isn't that like the first time this character's been in screen together? They have like no chemistry. There's nothing to. There's no. They don't have a relationship.
No, not at all. No.
And they're actors. No, they are both of them. And even when people are on screen, it's always in conflict.
Yeah.
It's never just like really interesting. There's no wholesomeness. So.
No, not at all. The Navi parts are very much a mixed bag for me because the effects, I still think they hold up today incredibly. So,
Yeah, they hold up.
I mean, there's a part of the effects that might seem like I'm going to give it an insult, and I don't mean it this way, but I mean, listen, I still think they hold up. I still think they're incredible. I remember watching the first time when Jake did get up, and he ran out of that building, the facility, after he got his transfer to the Navi body. And I remember how much I was blown away by how realistic the mocap looked, the motion capture looked.
I got them skills.
Little cat ass hanging out.
It's a small butt.
I mean, they're very tall and thin. So it's better they got no ass.
They got nothing.
They got no ass back
They got
there.
Hank Hill ass. They got Hank Hill ass. The man and the women.
That long ass tail. But I remember looking at that, and I saw how they were moving with the background, and and I was just like, wow, this is really cool, man. I thought the Navi scenes were incredible. I mean, I like the way the tails flip when they get mad. There's a lot of attention to detail.
The ears, they go back, just like little kitties.
Yeah. But the more we got into the actual tribes, that was where it went from being, and this is where it's going to sound like I'm insulting this.
But no, you're a real car. It's fine. You can't insult someone who doesn't exist.
Gotta say a little something.
You can say something.
This is where it went from feeling more like a really cool science fiction movie to an animated cartoon.
Okay.
It kind of Disney-like in a way.
Sure.
For one, and again, that's what I'm trying not to say is an insult, but there are certain things that just make it feel that way for me. For one, it might be because they just use a lot of tropes that you see with movies that deal with natives and tribes and whatnot, especially in fantasy films. Because in fantasy films, when you have tribes and you have native people and indigenous people and whatnot, there's always a sacred tree.
Yeah.
Or, in this case, trees. Also, this whole tree thing is another science fiction trope that I don't like, which I'll tell you after this clip.
There's some kind of electrochemical communication between the roots of the trees, like the synapses between neurons. And each tree has 10 to the 4th.
He's like, Dad, it's some trouble, right?
I don't really care.
He's like,
Synapses.
he says, I'm evil corporate guy.
Yeah.
You think I give a... I'm gonna run all those trees.
You lost me a tree.
Yeah.
You know we don't like trees. We're not still sound.
Stupid liberal hippie chick. This whole thing with the trees, they always have a sacred tree in these things, in these fantasy stories, but also the whole thing with these trees being connected. There's a part in here where they were talking about how if we start killing these trees, then you kill the whole species, and it was like, well, cool, we have a solution, kill the trees.
Yeah.
That's another thing, I don't like the whole alien hive mind trope.
Oh, yeah.
Where you take out one thing, it takes out everything.
Shuts out everything else.
Yeah. It's a quick way to raise the stakes, and it's just, it's easy way to take something out.
To wrap it up.
Yeah. The romance felt Disney-like. Maybe it was reminding me of Pocahontas or something.
It's totally Pocahontas.
It's totally Pocahontas. He's like, he's dumb, but he's hot.
Exactly. It's okay. It's funny, because Kels and I watched this, and she brought this up yesterday, and their entire romance is told through montages. Like, they really don't have that many conversations. It's just them training, and she's like, well, he's hot when he trains, and so, I love you.
They really didn't get to know each other that well.
No, not at all. Yeah, they don't talk. Wouldn't it be interesting if he described his world to her? That would be like an interesting scene. And like what their lives are like. There's nothing like that. It's just montages.
Yeah. But hey. That's all you need. Disney something. You put a Lion King montage in there. It's a love, baby. And again, that's another reason why I probably felt like it was more of an animated cartoon because of Disney. I felt like Disney references in here to Pocahontas and Lion King and whatnot. Now, again, I don't even have a problem with that. I think it's, I don't think that, it's one of those situations where long amount of time spent with each other equals love. Yeah, they didn't really build up any chemistry. It was just like, I taught you some shit. Oh, you know our ways now. I love you.
It's the basis of any great relationship. Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think it's strong, and that's why I feel like this is more. It feels more like a cartoon at times. But I'm not feeling it.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's no denying that it worked. It's the thing that I think we legal that is an issue with the process is interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly. I thought it could have been more interesting. I thought they could have built up that romance to where I cared about their relationship more. I really don't.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, I just don't care. And also, listen, and this is a personal thing with me. Okay, yeah, Jake as a Na'vi, technically, yes, he's blue, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, this is a Great White Hope movie.
Oh, sure.
Jake learns a little Na'vi language. He gets himself, a Na'vi woman, and all of a sudden he's running shit. And this is how Great White Hope movies work.
Yeah, no, I know.
You take characters of color or a group of people who don't have any real representation. I'm not talking about Na'vi here, need representation today, but that's the formula. You take a person, usually a white lead. You put them in with this group of people who should have people once having their story told, and then they end up leading everybody. Now it's not that deep right here. Where we
Surface level, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's not like we're taking Native Americans and black people, nothing like that, and having the Great White Hope come in. But it is that theme that we have here. And the only problem I have with that storytelling here is that it works in a way that really doesn't make sense to me. Because, as I said, he comes in after a week of learning Na'vi and, hooking up with this chick. All of a sudden, he's the one that's hitting the campaign trail.
Yeah.
Trying to get all the other tribes of Na'vi to work together to go against the military and go against the evil corporation as they prepare for war.
You fly now. With me. This is our land.
Well, it's also interesting in the movie. It's not interesting, but you can tell like, all right, well now I know how he's going to rally everybody because much earlier on, they set up this plot point where, oh yeah, the only thing that brings us all together is one, I put my hair penis inside of this giant lizard dragon. That's the only thing that's ever brought the tribes together. And, he's like, okay, I remember that. And that's it. He gets his hair penis in a dragon. And I'm like, holy shit, he did it. All right.
All his brother shit and us and my people are like, what? You just got here, fool. Yeah. And on top of that, if you really, really want to go deep with it, I'm not really trying to go there, but if you want to, I get it. Getting the Avatar body, that is the ultimate appropriation.
Oh, shit.
It's the ultimate cultural appropriation.
Yeah, I can see that.
Take a skin and all of a sudden, hey, I'm just like y'all. And it doesn't make sense to me because he starts rallying these people, and it's like, okay, so the Na'vi never thought to do this themselves, their own people. They never thought to go around and say, hey, let's all work together and go against this dude who just came in a few days ago is the one doing it.
Well, this is, I think, it's also a common trope in a lot of these movies. Even though they show the native people as being very competent, having their own ways of doing things, being intelligent, there's a point in the movies, I feel like it often happens, is when they know they're set up against a force that is shown. They're far advanced technologically, let's say, that they get really dumb all of a sudden. They're like, we're going to destroy everything we have them anyway. And they get slaughtered. And that's what always happens. That's what happens in this movie, too. And then it's like you got to bring in the guys that go, oh, no, you guys lost. Now I'm going to come in and help you. Yeah. It's another annoying thing that happens.
And the way he would, like, they accepted him way quick. I don't know why.
He put the hair penis.
Oh, because I betrayed it.
Yeah, that's what
Wow. You got some Na'vi skills, boy. Yeah. That is kind of crazy, though, because one of the things I did enjoy about, my time with the Na'vi is that, James Cameron, sometimes it's silly, but other times it's like, wow, you did try to put some thought into this culture. You did try to think of some details. Now, it was a little weird in certain places. I mean, I don't know if this is weird or if I respect this. He actually gave them barbed penises. It was in the end of their tails, or their ponytails, but he gave, if y'all don't know, male cats have barbed penises. They have hooks on them. I don't know. It's like a weird alien that comes out of them. And I don't know if that was the influence for this, but if it was, hey, much respect for even going that far. Yeah, you got that right. It's kind of freaky. You ever seen a real cat dick? That's even freakier. And it's crazy now to what you're saying over here. You just kept talking about this, the dragon. Listen, it's crazy how they get control of these creatures, how they bound these creatures, because the whole thing of getting these creatures to bond with them is they wrestle them down to the ground and mind rape them. I feel kind of good.
Do that again.
I think that dragon learned something about something. Ooh, why was I resisting so long?
I like little kitty cat. I need them all the time.
Put that damn bar penis up in you. Yeah. Okay, so here's another weird thing. They were growing these bodies.
Yeah.
So do they have someone like salon and like wear a scuba suit, braid their hair?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll explain that, because it's not like a natural. No, you can't do it naturally.
No, it's not like that. I don't think it grows like that. I don't know, because it's got this, penis at the end.
I don't know. Maybe it's like this. It's like this tube, and it's like they're like, oh, don't show off your tube. I'm like, oh shit, sorry. They have the braid covering a tube. I don't know.
So who was the person that went in and did that?
Someone. That's the tube guy. We don't know. We haven't met him yet. Maybe he'll be in the sequel.
Well, it is rape. I mean, they force that creature to the ground and then penetrate them. Get your ass down. Yeah, you're like, you want this. Yeah, man. But other than that, I think the culture to a certain extent in the world in this, I thought it was well thought out. I thought, like I said, some of it's kind of crazy, some of it's silly. But James Cameron does a good job for the most part, I think, at world building.
It's the first time since the school was closed down.
I like the environments. There are times where it did feel like real indigenous creatures going around and interacting with their element, their environment. I thought he did a good job of world building with this, man. I mean, you know, again, I thought it was, the simplicity of it did make it very immersive at some points. And that's very important because I think he did such a great job at world building that it really, like, this world is beautiful. It's gorgeous what he built here. Pandora, it looks amazing. The floating islands and everything. It's very pretty. But it's so pretty, man, and it's so well done that, man, it hurts when the military starts coming in and destroying it. At least for me it did, man. I mean, maybe because I just thought it was so gorgeous and they really pulled me in with it. But when they started destroying it, I felt anxious. I really felt, you know, stressful inside. And James Cameron is not here, man. You know, like, he shows how some of these Na'vi people die horribly. Yeah, you
get crushed by a giant tree.
By a giant tree. My wife Mia, she was watching this and it affected her so bad because she's not even into blockbusters that much anyway. But she said, "Can I watch this with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sit down." And when we were watching it, she saw how these she saw how these Na'vi were dying and everything was blowing up and on fire, and she was just like, "Humans are so horrible." It's like, it's true, man. No, it's true. Why are they doing this to me? What did they do to deserve this?
They were in the way.
When things started getting destroyed, the emotion that the Na'vi showed was incredible, man. It got so bad that Zoe Saldana's mother in the movie, the Na'vi mom in the movie, she had that black mama at a funeral cry. That's when you pulled it out of the casket.
You don't just say yell.
Yeah.
That worked for me. That worked for me. That one.
No, that did. And that was a great performance by CCH Pounder.
Oh, that's CCH Pounder? I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, CCH Pounder.
She's great.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, she has a good moment.
Is incredible in this, man. Like, I'm not even crazy about the movie. I like it. I'm not crazy about it, but like, her performance almost brought me to tears, man.
Get away! Get away from here!
You know,
These were deleted. Nick, I know you think it's some sort of huge own. No, I think he just said it was funny. But coming from a eternally obese man who will sell out their friends to suck Keith's first dick, your criticism falls flatter than the transition from your neck to your chest. Pretty fat too. You're dumb. And Keith started Dick Rider. Sit down. That was very good. Even obese. Allow live you if you keep drinking the dick ring.
They quartering like Dick Ride, Ethan Round, and all those guys.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. By the way, the reason he has a fucking the whole thing with the quartering when they screwed him up, the Magic the Gathering, right? It's because he came on this show. He did everything. Milo, everyone. And then when he got up there, he told everybody to fuck off, which is what he's famous for. The only people he ever told to fuck off was Bering and fucking Bering and Dankula. And it's like the kind of, I don't know Dankula or Bering. I've dealt with both of them. I guarantee they laughed at him behind his back. Like, what is this? He's every right guy used to go to like work in the Midwest, and he used to come back, he used to come back to Jersey, and he would fucking just bitch for hours about dealing with Midwestern people as far as they talk fucking slow. They think the Yankees there to screw them. And you took my granddaddy's farm. You ain't taking me for a ride, Yankee. You know, they got all that shit going on. They're unbelievably like nose in the air, staunch. Fucking can't get a goddamn word out. It's a bitch battle. Not a fucking Midwest. Why are you going back with Nick? He just laughed at you. Like, who's not allowed to laugh at you? I guarantee this isn't true. Your can't go to war with him. Can't go to war with him. He's never been funny. Jeremy has never, ever been funny. Not a day. The content is funny. You can be screaming at the top of their lungs. You go, no! That's fucking funny. Not him. He just puts it on the screen. By the way, I watch him. I'm not going to stop. Every time I go, oh, that's an interesting video. I watch the first 5 minutes of it, and then I do something else or read another article. Read the usual article. But I like Jeremy's content in the sense where I'm for it, but it's nothing special. It's hard work, spitting it out over and over. It's a grind. He's a grinder. Nothing wrong with that. But let's be honest. He's not an artist. He's a grinder.
Nick sent me one that we didn't have.
Okay, good. Let's see. Boxing lunch winner can be the true King Star Sips, even though Visa will have to do
I just sent it to you. Yeah, I just sent it to you.
We received word that the 1244 and the clear was kick warning that second American Airlines Boeing 767 loaded 20,000 gallons of jet fuel. Granted to the free speech town of Paris. 5,000 Americans dying in a terrorist attack. That's a pro clutch. First of all, Nick's from New York. I'm from the same area. I was actually in the Army. I don't know anybody that's a bigger blowhard than fucking you. I witnessed 9/11 with my own fucking eyes. We had dust in our cars in the morning, all right? Nick was like fucking 4 or 5 years old. We grew up right around that area. Nick probably knows people that are personally affected. Get the fuck over yourself. You're always pissing and fucking moaning about STWs not being able to take a joke. This is exactly what they do. Ha ha ha, talking about 5,000 Americans dying in 9/11. Nick was fucking closer to it than you were.
Not only that,
You know?
before this, Quartering compared the Elon Musk poll to being his 9/11.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. See, unironically, I mean, like, are you kidding me? You're a joke. This is hysterical. I mean, you really should be embarrassed for yourself. I mean, I really don't hate him. I don't think he's done, like, Mr. President left the thing that towards the folks. I mean, I literally joined the Army because of 9/11. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, get over yourself. I'm going to tell you a story. Right? I think I told Joey the story. It's about getting fucking your panties in upper or all right. So, the BBC was going to put out a show about Irish people during the potato famine. It was supposed to be a comedy, a Father Ted-like comedy about the potato famine in Ireland. I'm of Irish descent. So I was personally fucking offended. So I marched down over here at these bonds and Irish people, these Irish, I pointed it out, and I just went on and on and on, and they looked at me and completely disarmed me, made me feel fucking ridiculous by saying, why don't you wait to see if it's funny or not? And I was like, that's what you need. You need a moment like that. You need a humbling moment like that. Like, get over yourself. Get over yourself. I mean, really. Get over yourself. It's not that serious. The fucking goddamn potato famine was 150 years ago. 9/11 was 22 years ago. And he's not making fun. He's not making fun of fucking 5,000 American dyings, you dishonest SJW. He's making fun of the seriousness of what you're making this. It's like 9/11 serious. Like, are you nuts? You're just like your enemies. I became a free speech exclusive to 9/11. Like, who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? I just love America more than you, Tom. Get over it. You sound ridiculous. He needs to see this. What I just said, he needs to see that. Absolutely. Yeah, he needs to see that. And like, last time I goofed on him, he tried to swing his audience at me. Right? And it wasn't, go back, it wasn't even hateful. It was just me and Nick laughing at him. Yeah, he's banging it. Was he banging the table over this time?
Banging the table. It was, I remember someday with the Chapman took down. He was fighting for it. And you and Nick in principle agreed, like, the person get their channel back, and he does do good.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. He's right, and he was like,
when they started back with the show, a lot of people you're like, oh fuck, say you are going to say to me.
Remember when he didn't he do a video in his car while he was drunk?
Yes. And he also, funnily enough, during that whole series of events, he also ran to Ralph during that time to take on Nick, where you had Ralph and Nick laughing at him because he wanted this debate but wouldn't do it. If I remember correctly, he just kept oh no, it's not funny, it's not funny. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was like, but basically Nick and Ralph were laughing.
dude, fucking Jeremy, you're a blowhard. That's what you are. That's your mom. You're a blowhard. Don't be a blowhard. 40 years old. You can kind of afford, like, kids sound like a 20-year-old college kid sounds like. And everybody see laughs at that. I gotta listen to that fucking bitch talk about feminism one more time. And like, oh, this guy's an ally. Let's get him out of here. I'm not dealing with him. That's what you're doing, man. No fun, Kyle. No fun.
Yo, hello?
Doesn't sound like fun. I think falling asleep in the train stage is much more fun than that, right?
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, actually it is. It was funny. Please buy some coffee.
I recognise my
Yeah, I know. Let me tell you something. You were never not fun. Not for a minute. You were just concerned.
Yes.
I heard the stories, man. They were
He was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the story did you about that story?
Oh, yeah. I heard the stories.
They were that fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. So who's up for Braveheart?
Sunrise to sunset.
Who's up for Braveheart?
Let's do it.
Optimus has made a video. Drop it, Optimus. Let's do this. Are you ready?
That's it, published.
It's published.
Yep, let's refresh.
There it is, Braveheart. All right, this is for $100 donation.
Yes.
And what were you talking about again? Like, oh, this is about
Established titles.
Yeah, established titles. That's what it is.
Established titles.
That's
yeah.
okay. I have not established those established titles. So there's Cut Secret at the beginning. Here we go. All right, content from the team. Here we go.
Shout out to this video's sponsor, Established Titles.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English.
Now, unfortunately, everything said there, from the buying of land, being given a lord title, and even the planting of trees, is a complete lie, is a complete scam.
As if it's not bad enough that you paid £150 to buy a lord title and a tree, you had to get the trees in the garden pulled down so that your pathetic little twig could be the biggest one there. I'll let it go that you wear that t-shirt and you think you're Optimus Prime.
He said he was going to do it like the good Scotsman he is. He got it. Yeah, go check it out. Drunken Peasants was in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, go check out Office. He's a big help. I got to send this shit. Holy shit, I'm way behind. I didn't know it would like drag back like that. I'm like way behind. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Now I'm with it. go check out all of this. It's really funny. Yeah, I couldn't just upload it here. I had to give a shot. So, like Transformers content. I don't know. Encourage you to make more shit like that. It's fucking funny. Jesus. Better than Citizen Kane or something else.
What's his name in Guy? I mean, Strange. That's a good check it out.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, like I said, the only thing I had to change was the wind wheel. Where do we do that?
It's fine. It's fine. What are you thinking about going to Highlands and shit?
And when we see the snow and the black ice and we see cars crashing,
yeah, alright,
so, yeah, how much are you getting paid for this? And I went, I've got paid for it.
I got paid for it.
They're doing it in the fucking Northern Go out like a dog and take a shot.
I don't blame her. Yeah, you got really autism way to do that.
It's a cool sword.
Yeah, that's great. It does look cool.
I thought I was open up for Christmas one year. When I told the entire story about the backstory established times, and she just looked at me and she went, how does nobody know you don't get called a lord or a lady or something?
Did you tell her everybody is autistic on YouTube?
Yes. Because she doesn't know this world.
Yes.
So when I explained to her she was going to be in the video, I went to her doing my hair and I doing my makeup and I was speaking to her almost like, oh fuck, here we go.
No, I wanted to be a Scottish house. I wanted to be a Scottish house. I think that's the real life.
I knew the name was talked about it. I knew Autumn.
Yeah, it's too fucking funny. I don't know what's going on with the world. I don't know why people are so fucked up. When it takes a pulse, I cannot. And I tell you, since it's over Christmas, I might not be able to do some of the after shows. I got a bunch of shit to do tomorrow. Hold off on the after shows for a little while. Kinamushi YT, you're on the air.
Hi. I don't know if Jeremy knows this and you guys have brought it up, but like, in all seriousness with like the Elon stuff, he does realize that like he can literally put anyone he wants in charge, meaning he can put in somebody who literally control. He can be like, put this rule in place or put this rule in place, meaning that literally
I don't think here's if he doesn't do that, well, I ain't gonna do that, Elon. Are you fucking fired? You know, like he's like lock, stock, and barrel load. I don't know. I don't understand. I think that he's worried. And like, I think it's a good reason to worry. Look, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but the paperwork's out there, so I'm not that crazy. Like, Twitter has been infiltrated by the CIA, the FBI, and other foreign intelligence groups. That happened. That's a fact. That's not me being a wacko. So I think what people like Jeremy are legitimately worried about is somebody like that might get in charge. You know, cause of the cracks. There's people like that.
Hasn't Elon hired like retired FBI agents and stuff? That's what I read.
No. He fired them. He didn't fire them immediately. He didn't fire them. That was the thing. He didn't fire them immediately. I mean, he got all these people that just there. We have like the country's split, and one side of it's willing to like infiltrate. It's crazy. So I get the fear, but here's what I don't get. You know, I think I'd stay in bed. I don't know, maybe bought a pack of cigarettes or some shit. I don't fucking know. That's insane what he's doing. You're right there. It's the simple answer. He can fire anybody he wants, and do the shit he wants. And he's gonna be on Twitter throughout the day anyway. He's gonna see it real time. He's still gonna get hit with the messages.
All I have to say other than that is Nick went hard.
Yeah.
You know that, like, oh my god, he's saying like...
What's that fat fuck calls Nick the Beast? I think he has to be And then, what did Jeremy do? He's trying to fucking, like, turn his audience out of, like, oh, you're joking around about 9/11. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, people gonna... Every time just cancel you and shit. Like, because Jeremy can't hang. That's all I said, is Jeremy can't hang. And, like, with fucking things like that. I bet he wouldn't. He can't hang. He's not... He's just very hardworking. And he has done things for friends of ours that really helped him out and got him through. He does fight. He's like that. Who's that zombie girl?
Zombie Kills.
Zombie Kills. He fought her. That was brave. I'll give him that. You don't know. They become something actress. That girl that docks the guy and she's down for 5 hours.
Nadia.
Yeah, and Zombie Kills is black. The fucking gamer and a big mouth leftist. I'm surprised Jeremy didn't fucking seal us. So I'm not saying everything he's ever done in that, but he is absolutely, he needs to, if you're going to make a bad decision like that, he needs to recognize, he has to know who he is, he has to know his role. And if he doesn't, he's just going to make a fool of himself. I don't give a fuck, I'm not telling him to stop drinking. I mean, it's just funny. I love to do it on the stream like this one. I like when he gets drunk. I think it's fucking funny. It's not my fucking problem, it's his problem. But, like, it doesn't make me any less ridiculous. I'm not drunk on stream. Never like that. Imagine me coming on here as like, that fucking bitch wife of mine. She never fucking listens. I mean, people would go nuts if I did that. You know? How do you have urge to do something like that?
I'm tempted to literally just, like, other than that, like, say to Jeremy, look, I'll edit your videos if you're not good at editing, because it really just annoys me that, like, his videos aren't edited and there's long-winded pauses. I'm like, just cut out the pauses. It's not that hard.
I don't think he even do that at this point. He's just like, that's the easiest, quickest way to make a video. Just talk.
Hey.
Yeah, it's like you record, talk, and it's like, you have a preset. I do it.
You want a team?
Right here.
Want a team? Oh, you want a team? You want a team?
We used to call it SFTV News.
Come here if you want a team. Come to me.
Bang, boom, it's out, it's easy. Cut it and go. He's got a bunch of memes in this video. Drunk Tommy C, get Cronin in line. I want to apologize to him. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Is that a big blowhard about that? Yeah, probably. Yeah, fair enough.
By the way, Tommy, here's the quartering tweet. It says, yes, Twitter is the public square. Losing freedom of speech is that square is more important than 9/11. Does that make you feel uncomfortable? It makes me feel like shit to say it, but it's also true.
Alright.
Any more calls? I'm done. You know, I wish you did it. Because I don't hate it. I'm sure, like, when anybody makes fun of everybody, it's got to be, like, some kind of hate behind it. That's not what it is. What do you got, Deckard? Deckard agrees with fucking Jeremy.
First, big up Wilbur on the video. That was, he had me in stitches with the Optimus mask and just the whole dejected look on your Optimus face. But, the whole Jeremy getting drunk and doing this shit, it's like, it's not the first time, it's not going to be the last time. But it's like, it's the biggest reason why, like, I would never want to be doing live streams. If any sort of content, I would only want to do, like, YouTube, where I can actually sort of, like, look back on it and be like, did that actually check out? But I guess with the whole Twitter thing, and you're just fucking going off half-cocked.
It's just enough fun to watch. Well, whatever. I don't care.
It's uncomfortable, but it's hilarious, but it's uncomfortable.
It's his problem, his motherfucking business. That's the way I see it. His problem, his fucking business. Period. That's what it's about. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it a day. I got shit to do. I gotta my kid's fucking, I don't know, he's playing his violin or some shit. I can't imagine. It's gonna be 56-year-olds that have playing the violin for, what is it? September? Since September.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. I gotta go to bed. You know what I mean? I gotta go to bed. Because he does. He asks me. He'll ask me too. Every time he plays football. Did I do good? Isn't that the best game I ever had?
That's good.
Yeah, boy, was he shocked when I said, I think you could have ran a little harder today. I did. I think he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I think you should run harder for those balls. That's what I think. It's up to you. But I think you should run well. Well, did I play good? Yeah, you played good, but you should run harder. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't yell. I didn't humiliate him. I didn't tell him he sucked.
I know you, man.
Yeah, I did. I thought he was floating out there a little bit.
Well, parents did decide to.
Yeah. Well, I guarantee you I was nicer than your dad. Guarantee you. I also say shit if you want to fucking, it's like nobody passed to me. It's like, well, you got to make yourself somebody to pass to. So you got to go in the backyard and learn to control the goddamn ball so they come from passing to you.
Tell him to eat it up against the wall and catch it with his force.
I don't know. I think he's a little more left brain because he can bow the fucking violin already. Because I can play guitar and that's not easy to learn. He could bow it. He can't really play it, but he could bow it. And then, arty stuff and puzzles and math. That might be more his direction, but whatever. Be funny if he's a big fucking
shit that he's our age, right?
He's a really, he already did multiplication, yeah. He learned at home, so he learned in school.
That's good.
Yeah, because my wife's a math wizard. She's actually, he already speaks 2 languages. He started off all right. He's doing it.
Well, yeah, because when you're a kid, your brain's a fucking spoon.
I know.
So you just got to cram it.
And we're giving it to him. Yeah, we're giving him everywhere. Anywhere you can get it, we're giving it to him.
Exactly.
I'm sitting and bragging what a great dad I am. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Guess what we got going? We got love phones tomorrow. Barring something really huge explosion. With Bunk. Apparently he knows how to get that pocket pussy and he's going to teach you. So stick around tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9 p.m. Central Europe, 8 p.m. UK, Greenwich Meridian. Thank you, everybody.
This is the almighty infinite, independent excellence, devil fight.
The holidays are upon us.
Walmart makes holiday cooking a breeze for me because I won't have to pay any more this year than I did last year. Mac and cheese is a must-have on the table every year, so of course I have to make it. My version of candied sweet potatoes reminds me just of how my grandmother makes it. I love that I'm able to create a delicious...
Miles Morales, the character that so many people pretend to like. Now I'm going to try to make this a contained video as I've got more than enough content out there speaking on this topic. But anytime you bring up Miles Morales being a derivative of Peter Parker, you're sure to get weirdos and plenty of stan accounts very aggravated. In fact, if you want to get guaranteed engagement on sites like Twitter, simply say Miles Morales is Miles Morales and Peter Parker is Spider-Man. You'll get more brainless attempting to ratio you in the comments and quote tweets that you'll know what to do with. These crack smokers getting baited into flailing like no tomorrow is quite the treat. But my argument is that these people don't actually like Miles Morales, they like the idea of Miles Morales. What I mean by that is that these weirdos barely know anything about the character beyond the surface level. On top of that, it's indicative in the comic book sales that show they don't really have a genuine interest. Anything they know about Miles Morales is on the first page of some fandom wiki that they Google really fast. They don't even support this mess, and at best, they grab screenshots from a torrent website or that Marvel Unlimited app. Some of you may remember we actually caught some fake fan pretending to own more comics than me. His example of this was showing the books that come with this Marvel Unlimited app. He was too stupid to remember that there's a little red bar that shows how much you actually read. And this fool never got beyond the first page of the first issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, so he told on himself. I believe this is representative of most of the supposed supporters. Look, I have my own gripes about the character, but it's quite pathetic when I know more about and own more comic books based on Miles Morales than those so-called pretenders. Matter of fact, even got that first bad boy upgrade it because I know I can sell it to some normie for maybe thousands of dollars in the future. The point of this video is not to just straight up crap on Miles as a character, but I will get this out of the way so newbies know where I stand. Miles Morales is a tokenized Spider-Man. I define what this means precisely in my masterpiece of a video titled Tokenism and Tokenization Explained. I don't care how you define it. Long story short, it's the race, gender, sexuality, etc. swap of a pre-existing character. Sometimes this is just another created version of the character like Miles Morales or She-Hulk or Supergirl, or it's just a character being depicted as something else in a new adaptation like Jimmy Olsen, let's say in the Supergirl show. As I've said many times before, all tokenizations are unoriginal, but not all unoriginal characters are tokenizations. What I mean by that is that when it comes to characters like Robin or the other Flashes and so forth, yeah, you can make the argument that the second, third, or fourth versions of them aren't original, but like with the Robins outside of Stephanie Brown, white, straight men, they're not tokenization, they're just unoriginal because they're the same makeup of the old character or the OG character that is. Before we get into this, let me quickly go through the straw man and or relevant things I know people are going to bring up in the comments. The definition of tokenization as I'm using it, I've already defined it. I'm not at all concerned how you use it. Number two, liking Miles Morales or the Spider-Verse movie is not an argument against whether or not he's a tokenized Spider-Man, or as I call him, Peter Darker. The existence of other tokenized characters, including other Spider-Folk, does not mean Miles isn't a tokenized Spider-Man. You liking him or others does not change the fact, nor do the supposed social ramifications of his existence change anything to that fact. Number four, Stan Lee's quote regarding anybody could see themselves in Spider-Man is largely taken out of context, but that does not mean that Miles isn't a tokenized Spider-Man. And number five, as I lay out these details of Miles and Peter, my point isn't to say that there aren't any differences, but rather those differences are largely superficial and do not negate their similarities. Number six, and perhaps the most important, in order to understand the tokenization, it doesn't just require you to understand who Miles is, which many of you don't anyway, but you also need to know about Peter Parker. This is why mentioning that the namesake is a mantle or griping that the other characters or about the other characters don't get as much slack, let's say, as Miles, that's a non-point. Miles ain't the only tokenized character. He's not even the only tokenized Spider-Man. He's not even the first tokenized Spider-Man. He's just one that many pretend to like the most. So, let's focus on that. Mentioning these supposed inconsistencies, which I don't personally have on this subject anyway, is red herring at best. All tokenized characters aren't created equal. I cannot say that enough, but I mainly want to show how people pretend to like these characters. Before we dive into that, let's get into some history lessons since people have selective memory. Let's first start with the creation of Miles Morales, which debuted to the world in 2011 in the Ultimate Universe. He's the love child of Axel Alonso, Brian Michael Bendis, and Sarah Shelley. Axel Alonso stated multiple times that having a biracial Spider-Man was influenced in part by Barack Obama and him being biracial. It's stated, and I quote, the obvious question was, when you have an iconic figure of this importance die, meaning Spider-Man, who do you replace him with? We've got a president right now of mixed ethnicity, so why not one of the biggest superheroes in the world? Another quote of his is, people who say this is a PC stunt miss the point. Miles Morales is a reflection of the culture in which we live. I love the fact that my son Tito will see a Spider-Man swinging through the sky whose last name is Morales, and judging from the response, I can see I'm not alone. So all opinions aside, he was first conceptualized for symbolic reason, to check a box. That's not my opinion.
Galliana Kia is celebrating the season of giving back with our holiday savings event. You'll find prices so low, you'll want to swap out your old sleigh for a new Kia.
But back to Miles. In the actual books, we first got introduced to him in the 4th issue of the Ultimate Fallout after the death of Spider-Man Park. Keep in mind, This was in the Ultimate Universe, which is a little different from the main universe, often referred to as Earth 616. The Ultimate Universe was Marvel's attempt to uselessly modernize and reimagine their heroes. The Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe, though, was still Peter Parker. So Miles wasn't even the first Spider-Man in his own universe, a universe that predates Miles by a decade and had already been rebooted before. But here we are again, and this time some genius at Marvel Comics thought it was a good idea to kill off Peter and immediately replace him with Miles Morales. He was fighting crime in a Spider-Man suit, and onlookers claimed that the suit he was wearing wasn't in good taste, and then, after said introduction, he immediately gets his own Universe Comics Spider-Man book. So, before we go any further, our first introduction to Miles was in a classic-looking Spider-Man suit, and then in a reboot of the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. So his first series was just a reboot of Peter's comic in that universe. Either way, the first issue of Miles Ultimate Comics starts with Prowler, who we are going to talk about more in just a little bit, but breaking into Osborn Industries, and on his way out, some juiced up spider goes into his bag. We then see Miles with his parents at a lottery for a charter school that he gets in, and then he visits his uncle. That same juiced up spider ends up biting Miles. He passes out, and then after his father comes to get him, we see his powers activate. Putting two and two together, we have another Prowler by the name of Aaron Davis. So let's recap. Prowler, an original Spider-Man villain who was introduced in issue 78 of The Amazing Spider-Man, sneaks into Norman Osborn's spot, and he's one of the OG Spider-Man villains as Green Goblin. He carries a spider, the result of an experiment that bites a character who ends up becoming a Spider-Man. That's Miles' origin story. We'll get into his powers a little more later, but it's important to note that his origin is essentially the same. Hilariously enough, Peter Parker of the first Ultimate comic reboot states that he was bit by a one-of-a-kind spider, which apparently isn't true. The notable differences that people are going to mention, and we'll address that, are the slight power differences and the fact that his parents are around and the family dynamic. Those are largely overstated, but let's back up a bit, because him being intended to be a copy is so hilariously blatant. Miles' first book actually starts with a conversation between Norman Osborn and a scientist by the name of Marcus. He first asks him, is he a fan of mythology, and then goes on a tangent about Athena and the myth of Arcane. Only it's the same damn conversation in the first Ultimate Comics Spider-Man in the year 2000. It's almost verbatim the same conversation that's happening, only Norman Osborn in Miles' comic is talking to another doctor, not Justin. Even the spider walking on Norman's glove, it's like the same panel. This shouldn't be surprising, because the same person that wrote the original Spider-Man comic, the Ultimate Spider-Man comic, wrote the Miles story. And because Norman acknowledges that Spider-Man was the result of one of his earlier versions of that super soldier Oz formula in a spider, one could see it as a nod, but that's stupid considering he's having the same exact conversation right after a single wandering spider gets misplaced, which ends up biting someone, giving them powers. The slight difference in details are superficial, as the core events are the exact same. It makes sense because it was written, again, by the same person. Miles has the same origin story, and over the next 10 years, he has basically no iconic storylines, and all of his main villains are old Spider-Man villains. The fact of the matter is this: there's hardly anything regarding his personality, even his nerdism, that we haven't seen from Peter Parker or a version of Peter Parker. Even his Venom powers we already have seen from other characters with spider-like powers, like Spider-Woman. He shares most similarities with the Ultimate Universe version of Peter Parker, which dealt with a young Peter, especially that second volume where the art made him look really young. Even when Miles quit being Spider-Man, they tried to make it look like that Spider-Man No More storyline classic image of the Spidey suit in the trash. Miles' rise to popularity can't really be credited to the books and still isn't. Into the Spider-Verse obviously put him on the map. Again, due to the social clout that comes with the character, he's always going to do better in movies or a video game setting than he ever will in the comics. That's because those are largely normie-centric mediums that are easy to digest. But you have people that say things like he was brought into Marvel's main universe because he was more popular than Peter Parker. There's nothing that indicates that, and it's false history. At no point in time ever has this character been more popular than Peter Parker, and that shouldn't even be a controversial statement. So let's look at the data real quick. Comichron and ICV2 are generally looked at the best sources of information to see where the comic sales are at. Despite Ultimate Comics being another #1 issue and it being heralded with all of the media pushes of how important and progressive this was, because little Johnny, I guess, can now see himself. He can finally see himself. It barely made the top 10 comics in September of 2011. It didn't even get 90,000 units sold. By the third issue, it had fallen all the way down to number 37. 2 issues of Amazing Spider-Man sold better. By the end of that year, this ever so popular Spider-Man managed to get outsold by 3 other Spider-Man books that were centered around Peter Parker. It was being shielded to the oblivion by the media and the critics, and it simply didn't do that well. The year-end numbers show that it was number 45 on the year-end sales behind other Spider-Man books. A few years later, they do the classic reboot gimmick, and it's even worse this time around. Miles Morales' Ultimate Spider-Man debuted at number 36 according to Comichron, selling only 45,000 units. To put that in perspective, that's less than ISOM #1, and I damn sure didn't have the resources or the shield media backing it. And ISOM was sold directly to customers, and all the comic shops that had it sold out of it. These Comichron numbers, you have to keep this in mind, are just numbers that are sold to the shop. Who knows how many of these rotted on the shelves? By the third issue, it was number 78 at 37,000 units. By the end of the year, the best Miles book was only number 403. This character had virtually no steam behind it, despite Marvel throwing all of their resources at it. His best performance didn't come until his third volume, which was an absolute bait and switch in 2016. It's the first and really the only series that was just named Spider-Man without making the distinction that it was Miles Morales. This book debuted fairly well at number 4, almost hitting 100,000 copies, but by the second book, it was down to number 15 behind, again, 2 other books headlined by Peter. It remained this way for the rest of this run, even through Civil War. The year-end sales tell it all. That Spider-Man book was only number 79 on the list due to that number 1. The second issue was way down at 340. Let's put that in even more perspective. Outside of that first issue, that bait and switch, there were almost 30, yes, 30 books that are just based on Peter Parker's Spider-Man that was in front of it. This ranges from the Amazing Spider-Man to even that Spider-Man and Deadpool series. So for the first years, despite all of this push by way of Marvel and the critics, there's no indication that shows that it was doing well compared to Peter, but also compared to the rest of the field. Again, shouldn't be controversial. Despite there being little to no interest in this character, Marvel did the smart thing by putting out Into the Spider-Verse, the animated movie. Now, simply put, it was a movie that was well received. Though that $375 million box office seems like nothing compared to the other MCU movies, but I will not pretend as if others didn't enjoy it, even if just for its animation. This is arguably the best received version of the character. The second best is probably the Spider-Man game. Purposely, Miles gets another reboot, though, in the comics, so that's a brand new character with like 4 reboots in 7 years. And despite having this critically acclaimed movie that dropped almost identical in time frame, Miles Morales' Spider-Man only pushed 57,000 books to stores. Again, if you include all 3 different covers of ISOM, we beat that. It didn't even beat Superior Spider-Man, nor the 12th issue of The Amazing Spider-Man. The second in January of 2019 fell all the way down to 57, and of course, it goes down from there. Year-end sales in 2018, that issue 1 didn't even crack the top 200. None of the issues from its own series even made the top 500 books in 2019. The highest book that Miles led on that list was at 223, and it was an Absolute Carnage tie-in. If y'all remember, which was stupid, they did that right after the War of the Realms. We covered a lot of that on this channel. So during a time at his peak popularity, he managed to probably do worse than the other series. In 2020, his best performing book is his The End comic. You remember that series where they just kill off characters? And that barely made the top 200, but that headlining series doesn't even crack the top 200 on any issue. His best year-end performance came in last year in 2021 with the 25th issue at the number 30 spot. Unfortunately, there are 3 other Spider-Man books that are also in front of him that focus on Peter. It'll be interesting to see what the year-end 2022 numbers will show, but it'll show the same story, let's be real. Be mad at me all you want for bringing this up, but the facts are the facts. His comics nor his trades are supported by the...
Sephora at Kohl's is the perfect place to start shopping because you can find a gift set for everybody in your family.
People that stand him on social media. This is a character you pretend to like to either spite your ideological enemies because you think it takes it to them, or you just like the idea of him. And that's fine. Just say that. But stop pretending that the customers have crowned him. No data that supports this exists. If as many people that get irate on my post actually went to go buy his books, I wouldn't have to make this video. This video may actually incentivize these pretenders to buy the video out of spite, more than the millions of dollars that Marvel spent throwing it behind the characters. So I guess you're welcome. By the way, he just got another reboot not too long ago. Look, I'll more than concede that normies are fond of him, and he may strike gold with depictions that are outside the comics. The only thing that I reject are those claims that claim he's doing better than what he actually is. Even being brought into like Marvel's main universe, he's not doing as well as you'd like to think that he is. On a serious note, I believe this character to be one of the lazy comic book creations in recent years. That's the artist in me. I think it's disgusting that so many people try to hide behind the element of race when people are critical of the character, as if to say that you have an issue with black characters. No, dipstick, the problem is despite all of this money flowing through the mega corporations that have Marvel and DC, they're still resorting to tokenization as the gimmick. It's boring and it's lazy. People don't have an issue supporting new characters. Just do the work and get people enthusiastic about the project instead of taking the shortcuts. It's what we did with the Rippaverse, as much as you hated us.
Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, EricDJuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.
Event-packed days with more than 60 keynotes, all rolled up into one.
photographic memory. I'm gonna let y'all guess and theorize. Someone said Jeff's on the Marvel Wiki fan site right now. He's trying to save himself. Darkside Droids with a 20, no message. Drops 20, walks out of the room. Full of cockiness. I respect it. I really do. Alright, Great Ghost with a 10 said, when major changes are made to reflect today's world, weirdos often say it's okay because marginalized talent was kept out in the past. Now people of all sorts have access. You get 70 Spider-Man. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what a way to say that, oh, well, black people were being kept out of the industry, or they wouldn't make black characters, and it was the best thing that y'all could come up with, despite now having all this access, and the gates are no longer being at least kept in terms of keeping people out by way of race and all shit. The best thing you can come up with is 75 different versions of Spider-Man. We have 10. Did I read this? Yes, I read it. Jeff with a 20 says, I'm not a fan of other Jeffs ruining our decent name. Yeah, man, I don't know what's going on with all these Jeffs. Alano says, now we know what Jeff means by the colors. Yeah, yeah, because he did say color scheme. Remember, that's what he said. He wasn't talking about the suit. Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. He said, go ahead. I guess yellow and black are a bit different than orange and black. Yeah, pretty much. And it wasn't orange and black. That wasn't his original, it wasn't yellow and black. He used to wear some fucking blue jeans. Do y'all not remember Luke Cage? Matter of fact, let me show you, because I got a big ass print, so I'm gonna show you what the original like Power Man looked like. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all real quick. Hold up. Jeff. Alright. So, this right here is what Luke Cage, aka, Power Man, was looking like. Alright. This is what he looked like. Tell me what the fuck is the similarity. What the fuck are the similarities, Jeff? Looks exactly the same. You got this one disastrously wrong. Got this disastrously wrong. So yeah, color scheme, you're wrong, right? We got that out the way. Or you said same origin. You don't know what his origin is. You have no idea what Isam's origin is for Never game. So you just made that up. It was 2 lies, Jeff. See, this is my problem with my detractors, man. Y'all don't have to do this. You don't have to be this way, man.
You don't have to be this way. One's yellow with some fucking basically blue jeans, and the other's orange and black full body suit. That's nothing.
Yeah.
But
The pizza's ready, but it's really hot. It just came out of the oven.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello, corporate America. Roe v. Wade is no more. And this has companies worried.
Are we going to have to pay to support a bunch of moms now?
You don't have to be this way. You got it wrong. Rip off Power Man. What the fuck are you talking about? People are weird. You held two covers and they look almost the same. Alright. Maybe he's both colorblind and retarded. And deaf, dumb, and blind. Freedom Time with a 5 says, to all the multiverse lovers, just hope in a different universe, White Ripper wrote the Ripperverse from multiverse, and we will soon see a crossover in our universe. Okay. How do you feel about having some of their like Dragon Balls bring people back if the story called for it? I would be interested to see where the pen goes that makes that make sense. Alright, let me refresh this real quick. Brett with a 5 says, now because of Jeff, I have to watch Lethal Weapon 2 just for Danny Glover's scene in the South African embassy. We got a 5. Did Avery have the exaggerated swagger of a black teen we was young? I don't think so. Maybe. He didn't jump off of rooftops in Jordan 1s with hip-hop music playing. I can guarantee you that. Can't take you out of this. Jeff, you're retarded. I'm sorry, man. Like, there's no way to salvage it. You lost. You should, as a man, I don't know if you're a man, you may be a they, them, but as a they, them, trying to be a man, you should have enough humility to just be like, okay, I fucked that up. You got the color scheme wrong, you got the origin wrong, and yeah, that's it. See, something being original does not mean without influence. It's not what the term means. Jackass. Like, no. See, now he's pivoting. Look at that pivot, y'all. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? His comment. His comment says they all ripped them off. That's my point. No. You said rip off. You said rip off Power Man, and then we held up the two together, and you see they look nothing fucking alike. There's one thing similar, but it has nothing to do with their color scheme, unless you refer to something else. It has nothing to do with their origin, which you don't know, and there's nothing to do with their. You talking about swapped. A few powers swapped that. You got it wrong. Don't try to pivot now and say, well, I mean they're all rip off. No, nigga, you can't do that. We're not just gonna actively let you just try to live. He put the y'all see that? That boy tried to put the goalpost on fucking on 4 wheels, bro, and move that motherfucker out of the damn stadium. Like ain't nobody gonna see that. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. You got it wrong. It's fine, man. Shit happens. Just shut the fuck up sometimes. That's what I tell people. Shut the fuck up, bro. Fucking talking, man. Look, y'all don't gotta go out of y'all way to be talking, trying to fucking be contrarians and shit. You don't gotta do that. Just shut the fuck up. You got it wrong, and that's fine. My point is they all rip off. Like, no, that's not what a rip off is. A rip off would mean like you could say that, okay, I directly copied the motherfucker. Then yeah, but you can't say that. Like to say that basically everybody's ripping off of like everybody, that's just bullshit. Originality does not mean without influence. That's not what it means. right? You can even from fucking Tolkien to people that are responsible for some of the most great original and notable works had some level of influence with somebody, with two or somebody. Fuck 100 years ago, we're talking 200, 300, 400. That doesn't mean that their work isn't original or original and being conceptualized. It's not how it works. A ripoff is a ripoff. Original does not mean fucking without influence. You're retarded and that's it. You got it wrong, and that's cool. There's no ripoff. Ice Arms is just an original character that I conceptualized. I can't even really point to someone that I can say that, oh, he was influenced. I can't even say that. Like, he's influenced by the genre of comic book characters, yeah, but really, I wasn't thinking about, I had nothing else in mind when I was making him. Definitely when people find out, like, you know, the origin story and all of that, like, that's really completely original. Right, so Batman is a ripoff. So yeah, according to that guy, or Shadow, like, you know what I mean? Like, basically, it's like, that's stupid. Nobody would say that. No creative person would ever say that and claim that. Just dumb. Like somebody bootlegging some shit, or somebody like a little rip-off is exactly that. Like, but rip-off does not mean without influence. That's a stupid. That means by that moronic logic, nothing on this earth is original. No creative concept is original, and nobody would ever claim that. No creative person would like claim that. That everything that has ever been created is not original. That's fucking stupid. Theo Derek, and then at that point, it's not even worth having a conversation, because then you're using a term so loosely that it applies to everything. So there's no point in even having the conversation. Theo Derek with a 50 says, "Merry Christmas, Eric. What's a good email to use? I'm still trying to get a proposal via my AI tech company. Contact at Eric. That's cool. Oh yeah." I gotta look into that. But yeah, that's one of our contacts. Jeff makes me glad I'm not as dumb as him. At least I know the definition of anime. Yeah, the whole same animation. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you know what an anime? Just using words. That's the contrarianism, though. That's what happens when you like you're more obsessed with trying to get to making the claim that you don't even try to make sense to get there. That's where he made the mistake. Appreciate that. We got John Gonzalez with a 5. Oh, I just read that. Freedom Titan, I read that. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything. We have Jairus with a Jeff Logic, super strength as a ripoff. So yeah, basically every character. Like I said, that's stupid. Nobody would claim that. Avery Parker said, people like Jeff is why I gotta take the L and become a detractor. Oh, because detractors, they don't send their best. They're all retarded. 10, in Jeff's world, heavy metal is just a ripoff of the blues. Yeah, true, because it was influence. That's where it ain't gospel. You know what I mean? Like, it's, like what? I mean, they did have to detune the guitar and put in a lot of distortion and change a few more things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So silly. You mentioned sleight of hand regarding death of characters. If you ever kill off a character and intended it to be permanent, would you bring them back if you found out later they were fan favorites? Nah, that's just something I would have to live with. If I like legitimately killed a character off and then like the audience said I didn't like that, I have to live with that. like I said, I can still store it retroactively, but just for the sake of consistency, I can't just say, oh, well, he found 7 Dragon Balls and we're going to bring it back. That's why you don't use death as a cheap gimmick, because then you may do some shit like that. So yeah. Said to save colors. Boy, showing enough what talking about is exactly suit. He's showing up on talking about that. What a jackass. Alright guys, the wife's here. I'm gonna shower, get ready to go to this Brazilian steakhouse in a bit. So the Graceful Rogue says, how do you feel about the argument of a character is too OP if they still have to be, and if they still can be challenged, and what's the highest tier of power in the Ripper? Well, we're not there yet. There's differentiation in power, all that. I certainly am gonna entertain all that, but I don't want to have like a character where it has to make sense that can just do fucking goddamn everything. All right, guys, I'm gonna shower. Thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing.
It's dinner time with Panera, and it is fantastic.
Lord, making it happen since 1889.
Tom Cruise, I think, is probably the last true movie star. The guy does some pretty amazing stunts just to entertain people. This video dropped yesterday, something for Mission Impossible, the new movie coming out, I think, next year. And he wanted to thank people for going to see Top Gun Maverick and for going to the movies to see it and making it such a hit. And he's up on a little plane just talking, and he ends up doing a skydive, keeps talking, and then you see him kind of start doing some scenes for a movie. I'm not sure. It still looks cool, though. And then the feed cuts off, and it shows a trailer for Paramount Plus getting Top Gun on the streaming service December 22nd. Still pretty cool. Just thanking fans. Thank you for coming to the movies. I think that's nice. You just don't see it that much anymore. You don't see people excited about people getting excited about their movies, thanking them for supporting it. Tom Cruise knows if no one saw Maverick, it would have been a failure. So he's thanking people for going to see his movie. Always willing to interact with fans from what I've seen, just loves fans. It's how people that work in the entertainment industry should be. They should love fans because it's the fans that make them successful. It's not the other way around. You don't make us successful. You entertain us, but it's not us supporting your stuff. You don't get more work unless you're a writer or a director. Then you could keep feeling upwards. But James Cameron could take a note from Tom Cruise's book, because recently he decided to flip off people that were seeking autographs. I thought this was kind of shitty. James Cameron flips the bird to autograph seekers after Avatar screening. So he was at some screening for Avatar. Here he is flicking off the crowd. That's real nice. Real nice. He's coming out of this screening right here. All these people behind him. The quality is awful. All of these people, not even that many, really. A handful of people. He just goes through them. Acts like they don't exist. He's just too high and mighty, for the plebs. Too high and mighty for the plebs. Doesn't need to show them anything, but he does show them his middle finger. he sticks it out the window. Because after he walked past them, you know, because he's a god among the plebs, I guess, walks past them, they start booing him. They F Avatar, all this stuff. I'm not saying that it's a good thing, but would it have killed you to sign a couple of autographs? I think people, that's what a lot of people do. They'll sign a couple, they don't sign everybody's, and then they go on about their day. I just think that's the incorrect response. Like, okay, you walked past him, you didn't want to sign anything, fine. You got to flick him off. You really should be the bigger person in a situation like this, especially when you're a bajillionaire like James Cameron, and you have a movie that honestly is somewhat underperforming. You have a lot of money you need on it. Do you really need bad PR? Because that's what this is at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if they were booing him and yelling at him and saying F Avatar. Him sticking his middle finger out the window at them is what people are going to get out of this the most. And it's just bad PR. It doesn't look good. And it's unnecessary. Maybe he's bad because it's an underperforming movie. I don't know. The China release not doing very well, which I'm sure they were banking on, by the way. They were probably banking on this movie doing well. But just China just recently opened back up. They keep shutting everything down, opening it back up, shutting everything down, opening it back up. So people wanting to go to the movies, that got everyone so damn scared over there. I don't know about that, but just unacceptable behavior, in my opinion. Another shitty move by James Cameron, who's been on a roll lately, by the way, talking about how the film is about female empowerment and feminism. Recently going about saying that testosterone is toxic, the natural, occurring hormone is toxic, and it's best to get rid of that. Not really the best moves. Now, one thing I will defend are these people that are pushing a boycott of Avatar. Do not watch Avatar: The Way of Water. Join natives and other indigenous groups around the world in boycotting this horrible and racist film. Our cultures were appropriated in a harmful manner to satisfy some white man's savior complex. No more blueface. The Dakota people are powerful. So I guess this is a real thing. It's making the rounds. I don't know if this is from an article or just something that they posted, but apparently James Cameron is guilty of favoring non-indigenous folks to play Na'vi, an alien race based on many indigenous cultures he appropriated from. This is a form of racist caricature known as blueface, coined after the infamous film in 2009, Avatar, where a creator appropriates many non-white cultures, blends them together indiscriminately, and has white people play or voice them using fiction as a medium. Here's a quote from somebody. Oh, James Cameron saying something. You can pause it and read it if you want. There's this one too. A lot of people in the comments. You can take a look at the quote tweets too. Here's someone saying, "Finally, are Americans okay? Y'all be canceling everything." No, it's a fictional film. Where are these indigenous LARPers? She, her, pointing out the pronouns in the bio. Yeah, people not really getting on board with this, but it's just funny. Every time we have a movie coming out like this, a big movie, there's always something bad with it. But still, 33,000 likes. A lot of people jumping on board. Getting a lot of backlash, though, in the comments. And I say rightfully so, because I think that this is dumb. It's unnecessary. This film's not racist. Nothing racist about this film at all, in my opinion. I think him flipping off people is stupid, but I will defend the film on that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It seems like a fun movie, to be honest, that people are liking. But James Cameron can't help himself. Has to create some negative PR here. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and my locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free, but if
You don't marry the like of your life, you marry the love of your life. Men's Warehouse. Love the way you look.
Well, this is a little bit of addition to the breaking news this morning, where I talked about the fact that the saga is over. It's done. The appeal has been pulled. A settlement has been reached. And probably one of the biggest, I gotta say the biggest trial in celebrity history is now coming to an end. So, of course, AH here put out a long statement basically saying that she just doesn't want to go through it again, and she's tired, and this really isn't her conceding and admitting guilt. Sure, okay. I mean, you could tell lawyers went through it, but she was blaming the UK trial and the public and all this stuff, and still not taking any blame or admitting the truth. Basically, she lied in her statement that she put out today. But she's
Alright guys, thanks for joining the stream if you did.
JD $1 million.
I'll check this game again out soon. And yeah, you guys have a beautiful day.
Talking about this again is because there's